Howdy, folks. Today we're looking at Tangent Comics' The Atom from 1997 in DC. 29 years ago, DC Comics began a strange experiment in alternate history, a fifth-week event spearheaded by the great Dan Jurgens that, for once, actually succeeded in changing everything. If you've never heard of Tangent, you're probably wondering what it is. This certainly doesn't look like any other version of The Atom DC has ever published. The basic premise for Tangent was a new universe spun off at an abstruse angle from the one you know, only instead of new versions of familiar faces, already the standard expected gimmick for the Elseworlds line, Tangent took that impulse one step further by burning everything but the characters' names and starting from scratch. What's more, the event was an exercise in elaborate world building, taking for its setting an Earth where the Cuban Missile Crisis resulted in a brief but intense nuclear exchange that destroyed Cuba, Florida, and much of the South. Our specimen today actually tells the story of that tragic event through the lens of this world's great superhero dynasty, the Atom. Our protagonist is the third hero to wear that mantle, Adam Thompson, grandson of the first Adam and Judy Garland. I told you the world building was wild. Adam's first order of business involves tracking down the Fatal Five, the villains who killed his father, a group that includes radically different versions of Ice, the Shadow Thief, Kid Psycho, Deathstroke, and Count Viper. The Atom makes short work of them, but Shadow Thief gets away and sets in motion a plan that ultimately forces the original Atom out of retirement and back into the spotlight. The first Atom was the victim of nuclear tests conducted by Uncle Sam on live soldiers, something that did actually happen in our world, although not to the extent shown here. Unfortunately, the original Atom made the mistake of meddling during the crisis in Cuba, accidentally initiating the very nuclear exchange he had set out to stop, a secret hidden for decades as his family became this world's most celebrated heroes. The idea for Tangent came from Jurgens, so it's only fitting he uses this issue to lay out the broad strokes of the world's history. He put a lot of thought into all the ways in which a different kind of Cold War would affect American society, both more technologically advanced and more paranoid, although it must be noted that 1997's idea of rampant paranoia turned out to be a bit softer in many respects than the reality of our actual present. Still, the series is dotted with a number of interesting speculations about the future of technology. Credit where it's due, Jurgens nailed the ubiquity of both commercial drones and computer tablets as consumer products. The event's great strength in hindsight is that it wasn't built around a central arc, but instead offered a series of more or less self-contained one-shots introducing the characters and their world. Tangent lingers in fan memory as one of the most well-received events of its kind, a genuinely novel reading experience for the era that brought out the best in its creators, and I'm looking forward to seeing how well it holds up.